Okay, in this video, we're going to go over transformation of a parabola function, and so let's begin. So this is a good reference. So this piece right here, it controls whether the graph will be a vertical stretch or a shrink. If the absolute value is greater than 1, let's say 2, it will be a vertical stretch. Likewise, if a is negative 2, it will also be a vertical stretch, but it will also be a reflection. Now, if a is like 1/2, it'll be a vertical shrink. And we will see a visual of what that means. Now, this piece controls whether the graph goes left or right, whether we have a left shift or a right shift. And it does the opposite of what you think because the formula is already negative. And so if you see a -5, it's going to shift right by 5. Likewise, if you see a +5, it's going to shift left by 5. Now, this piece does a vertical shift. It does up and down. And it does what you think. So a +2 is going to shift the graph by 2, and a -2 is going to shift the graph down by 2. And so we have three problems. We want to predict what will happen compared to the parent function. So we have a parent function, which is just x squared. We want to know what will happen for this problem, and this problem. Will it go left, right, up, down, a vertical stretch, vertical shrink, or will it have a reflection, or both? Now, because this piece is greater than 1, it's going to be a vertical stretch. Now, this is -1, so it's going to go right by 1. So we're shifting right by 1. Remember, it's the opposite of what you think. Some people, what helps them, they think, how can I get this piece to be 0? I can get this piece to be 0 if x is +1, so right 1. Now this piece does up and down, and it does what you think, so we're going to go up by 2. Now for the next one, we have a -4. So it's going to be two things. It's negative, so it's a reflection, and the absolute value of -4 is a +4, which is bigger than 1, so it's a vertical stretch. Now we have a +1 here, so we're going to go left by 1. And we have a -1 here, so we're going to go down by 1. And now for the last one before we see the visual. So 1/4 means it's less than 1, but bigger than 0. So it's going to be a vertical shrink. We have a -2 here, so we're going to go right by 2. And we have a +1 here, so we're going to go up by 1. So our visual. So x squared gives you this shape right here, this parabola shape. And you can think about this. If x is 0, 0 squared is 0. If x is, say, 2, 2 squared is 4. If x is -2, -2 times -2 is also +4. Now here, we see the graph is shifting right by 1 and up by 2. So our vertex is 1, 2. And if you notice, this graph is skinnier compared to this graph. Now we have this one. So it's going down because it's a reflection, so negative. It's also skinnier compared to this graph. And we're going left 1 because of this piece, and down 1 because of this piece. Our last one, we have a 1/4. So this is a vertical shrink. What that means is the graph gets fatter or wider. And then we start at right 2, up 1. So this is our vertex. Right 2, up 1, and then we have a wider graph. And that's pretty much it for this video.